Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining the call today. Instead of going through how everybody's doing this week, I do want to cover that at the end of the call, but I have a few topics that I wanted to talk about that I think were things that people were struggling with last week that I think that if they needed to kind of be addressed this week. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was finding balance. I know when you're a new coach and you're starting out, it's very easy to be overwhelmed by all the different posts, all the different groups, all the different tasks, all the different trainings. And I still struggle with balance, and I've actually learned something today that I wanted to share with everybody. But I think it's very important that everybody sets business hours. So even if it's just 1 hour a day that you're going to consistently work your business, that's what you need to do. Because if not, I heard on a call that I was on today that this business is a selfish business, meaning that it can easily take over your life if you let it. And the last thing I want any of the coaches on my team is to be living this rat race life where they're a slave to their phone and they're overwhelmed with every little task that they have to do, and they're feeling that they have to respond to people's messages instantly, and they're just not living. Because I feel like that's something that I've personally slipped into myself, because I have really, really big goals for this business. And if I'm being honest, lately I've been so overwhelmed with my big goals that I've let coaching take over my life. I've let this phone and the messages and everything come through totally dictate my life, or I find that I'm ignoring my family, ignoring my kids. And that's not why I'm doing this business. I'm doing this business for the freedom that it brings for my family. And right now, it's not bringing me freedom. It's not bringing me anything. And I don't want my coaches to get into that slippery slope that I feel like I'm sliding myself down. And I think that if somebody had told me in the beginning, hey, this is what you should do, this is how you should run this business with balance, I think it would be, it would have been a great tool for me. So first of all, you need to set business hours, which I've heard this for years since I've been a coach. Set business hours, set times when you're going to work, and if it's not that time, don't do it. Don't be that slave to your phone, which is great. I have had set business hours forever, but it wasn't until today that somebody said, set business hours, but set specific tasks that you're going to do for a certain amount of time every day. Because I had set business hours, and then I found like I was sitting down to work and I was responding to a coach here, or responding to a customer here, or doing this and doing this, and I was getting pulled in 8 different directions that I wasn't really accomplishing anything. Like at the end of the day, I'd be like, gosh, I feel like I've worked all day, but I haven't done anything. So today I downloaded this app. Somebody told me about it. It's a thing on my phone, and it's called 30-30. And I don't know if I can show it to you. But what I did is I took my business hours and I broke them up by, okay, I can work for this many hours every day. For this half hour, I'm going to work on my power of 3, which I'm going to, contact new people, message people, follow up with people. For this half hour, I'm going to check on my team. For this half hour, I'm going to do this. And I have set that that's what I'm going to do. So when I sit down to work, I'm working with 100% focus. I'm not going all over the place and letting a Facebook notification or this or that pull me from the task that I'm doing so I don't ever accomplish anything. So I'll screenshot this app, but it's a really cool little thing on your phone. I mean, it's not necessary, but it basically sets a timer. It says, hey, for this half hour, you press start, you do what you're supposed to do. When it's done, even if you haven't finished everything on your list for that particular task, move on to the next one. Because if we're chiseling off just a little bit from that to-do list in a couple different areas every single day, we'll start to have success. That way, when your business hours are done, you can walk away feeling, hey, I've accomplished something in all the different areas of my life or my business. And it's a way that you can have that balance and walk away and not feel like, oh my God, I didn't finish this, or I didn't finish this, because you got sucked into something that took your whole hour that you may have had dedicated to your business. So like for me personally, I have a half hour dedicated to the power of 3. And I think as a new coach, hopefully you saw that training in the 7-day quick start. But the power of 3 is basically that every day you're sending a message to 3 new people. You're adding 3 new friends. So the message is just hi or hello. You're inviting 3 new people, whether it be to a challenge group, business opportunity, no, that's different. The business challenge group, a sneak peek event, you're inviting somebody, you're following up with 3 people, whether it be coaches, previous customers, and then the last one is you're inviting people to the business opportunity. So every day you're talking to people, you're doing that, you're doing what you can to continue to grow your business. It's the most important thing that you need to do in your business. So it needs to be done every single day. So for me, Power of 3, I have 30 minutes every day that I'm going to dedicate to talking to people, messaging people, and really creating relationships. A few of my other ones, I have a time where I want to do social media, meaning I'll want to kind of plan my posts. If I want to make some photos, I'll take that time and make that stuff during then. I have time set out to help my team, and I have another time where I have stuff that I just want to accomplish for my to-do list for coaching, whether it be working on new training or reaching out to new people or that kind of stuff. So now I have focus. So set business hours, but have focus through them, because I think even if you just have business hours, it isn't enough. Granted, does that mean that every day is going to go perfectly and that you'll get to get in your business hours? No, but at least you have a blueprint to shoot for every day. Another thing is, and we talk about it all the time, and we talked about it last week, and I know a lot of you are doing this, but make sure you're doing your personal development, and if you can, do it first thing in the morning if your schedule allows it. I think when you wake up and you add positive stuff to your brain, the very first thing you do, it will just change your whole day. If you wake up and first thing you do is tackle your email box or this or that, you're going to start your day off feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and don't do that. Don't even open that kind of stuff until you've fed your brain, hopefully gotten a workout in and done something for yourself before you tackle everything else with everybody else. Does anybody have any questions about that before I move on to the next topic? Has everybody set business hours, even if it's just 1 hour a day? Do you have a set time where 1 hour a day at least you're working on your business? Okay, good. That's good. Make sure that my next challenge is make sure you set it to some sort of focus. Or for this time you're doing this time you're doing that. And it may have to change as your goals change with the business, but try and have focused time as you do it. The next thing I wanted to talk about was inviting. How is your guys' inviting going? Good? Not so good? How are you inviting? I'm going to call you guys out. How are you inviting people right now? Did you put just a blanket Facebook post up? Are you inviting people one-on-one in person? Are you inviting people through Facebook message? How are you guys inviting to whatever challenge group we have going? Anybody? No volunteers?
I'll volunteer.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Jake, do not leave the backyard. Okay. Sorry. I am inviting Casey and I are doing a Crockpot Challenge group, so we're inviting to that, and it's actually my first free group, so I feel like there's a big learning curve for me. I actually sent out about 10 private messages today about the coaching event too, so I'm inviting to that tonight. And other than that, I'm kind of like just ended week 1 of my current challenge group, so I don't have a new challenge group starting, but I think we have like 170 people in our Crockpot group right now. So it's, I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see.
Okay, that's good. And I will say personally for me, when I'm inviting people, it kind of ebbs and flows. Of course, you're supposed to invite 3 people a day is the quote-unquote rule to shoot for. Well, depending on what you're shooting for each month or how the month is going, if you're doing a clean eating challenge or a sneak peek. So there's times where I'll have like 2 or 3 days where I'll invite a ton of people at one time, and then I won't invite people for a few days, but I'm shooting for an average of at least 3 to 5 people a day if I do it in a group at one time. Because, you know, sometimes it's easier to get it all done at one time as opposed to just doing a couple here, a couple here, a couple here. So it just really depends on, make it work for you is what I'm trying to say. Is anybody having any trouble on what to say to people and how to talk to them? No? Anybody? Does everybody know where there's do you have something to say, Ayana? No? Okay, I thought you were raising your hand. Does everybody know where the scripts are for, there's a bunch of scripts that I've compiled from different areas, different coaches, different people that I've kind of met and kind of shared stuff with. There's a ton of different scripts for inviting people. What I would suggest is you'd read through those and find something that you think would feel natural to you. I don't personally work off of scripts myself because I feel like I've found my own voice, but until you've found your voice of how you want to talk to people and what works and what doesn't work, I think using a script is a great tool. By no means do I think you should copy paste, because it just doesn't seem natural, and I think people would be able to tell if you were just copying and pasting stuff in messages to random people. Try and be you, be genuine. Use the script as a guide for your wording. But I think as time goes on, you'll find your voice. You won't find what works until you've tried a bunch of stuff that didn't work. And I think that's where I have come with my coaching. You find your voice as you talk to more people and you realize, this is what has been working for me. What I like to always think is, how would I want somebody to approach me? If somebody was going to message me, what would I like it to be like if somebody was trying to help me or, maybe have me join a challenge? And in fact, just a couple days ago, I added a bunch of new friends from a group that I'm in. And literally this girl was my friend for just a couple hours. And I'm going to read you the message she sent me if I can find it. Literally we were friends on Facebook for just maybe 2 hours. She didn't know me at all. And she sent me a message that said, "Hello, new friend and fellow 12. It was from a Seahawk group that I'm in. I hope you are having a great week. This week, Lavelle," whatever that is offering promoters free product credit for every new customer/guest account we enter in our network. I would love to be the person on my team with the most new accounts. Would it be okay if I set you up a free all-access pass to the Lavelle website? You will not get spammed and there's no obligation. Each person that helps me reach my goal this week will be entered in a drawing for a free sample of Thrive. If it's okay, all I need is your email address. Thanks so much. I look forward to hearing from you." So what do you think? If you got that email, what would you think? Does that person know me? Do you think she sent that email to everybody else she met that day? Yeah. And in fact, I messaged her back and I said, "Hey, I'm actually a fitness coach and I don't believe Thrive is a good product." And she messaged me back and said, "Have you looked into it? We have doctors, nurses, personal trainers, and professional athletes who are Thrive promoters." And I said, "Yes, actually I have, and I'm not interested." And she continued to message me. So what was her main goal? Was she trying to help me? No, she wanted to make a sale, and it came through 100% through her message. So I know we're all desperate to make sales. We're all desperate to get Success Club, and we all have these big goals. But remember, the people you're talking to are people. They need to be related to. And I told her, and I said, "Here's a tip." I said, "Don't spam people you don't know." I said, "I'm in network marketing, and I completely understand what you're doing." I said, "It's rude, awkward, and it looks desperate." I said, "Get to know your people before you start messaging them. Even if you just say, 'Hey, Ashley, it's so great that we're new friends,' and start a conversation. And then after you get some dialogue going, maybe then, enter in what you're doing. But don't ever be that person that's like, 'I'm a Beachbody coach. Hey, I'm doing this challenge. Join it now.'" People are just going to ignore it and not respond. And I'm guessing she probably had to send that message to 100 people, and she might get a handful of people that are like, "Oh, here's my email." But I don't know what her company is. I don't know her, and I don't trust her. Why would I give her any of my information? So my main thing is make sure you are thinking, how would I want somebody to approach me before you send something off? Because if you're really putting yourself in your potential customer's shoes, I think you'll talk to them a lot differently than you would if you just copy paste. So a script is great, but make sure you're relating to the people, or they will be able to sniff it out that you are just out for a sale. And that's what gives network marketing such a bad name, because there's so many people who are out there sending those messages to everybody that they know, and it's making everybody put up their wall. So there's people who already have their guard up about people like us. I think Beachbody is completely different. I've been to a lot of different Beachbody trainings, participated in calls, listened to national wake-up calls for years, and I've never once heard anybody say, "Hey, send all these messages to as many people as you can." No, we always lead with a relationship. Even Carl, if you listen to anything Carl, our CEO, says, he always talks about the relationship first. Have a relationship with people before you have anything to do with making a sale. Does it take longer? Yes. But you get a quality customer and somebody who will be with you for life. I call them my lifers. They're the people who will trust you and stick with you and follow you to the ends of the earth if you take that time to get to know them more than anything. I know a few of you are running free groups this next week. Are you prepared? Do you have any questions? Anything I can help you with that for free groups? Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so I have a lot of people like Kelly in my group. When I'm done with the group or like halfway through, like you said, I don't want to spam them with something, but I have like 160 people and I don't want to send out the same email or message 160 times and it sound like a recording.
Okay, so here's
it's just me. Like I'm not doing the challenge with anybody else.
Okay, well, here's what I would do. I can help you in your group if you need extra help. People like to comment and stuff. But what I try and do in my clean eating groups is that, for one, I like to participate as much as possible. So don't just post or auto post, because I know it's easy to use like Hootsuite or Buffer to have your post just automatically set and just to kind of check out. I feel like the last 2 or 3 clean eating groups I ran, that's kind of what I did. I set up the post, put a bunch of people in the group, and I kind of checked in, but I wasn't really emotionally invested, and I think people could feel it, so they were total bombs. So make sure you're there, and they can tell that you have a heart to help them. You will see, so depending on how many people are in your group right now?
167.
Holy cow. So in my, wow. Yeah. So in my,
I email and it just, everybody came.
So first, this is what I always do for clean eating groups. And this is stuff that I want to talk about in trainings later, but since you have it started, I want to walk you through it a little bit. When I run a clean eating group, since I'm giving away my time and energy for free, I like to make sure that everybody in the group is my friend on Facebook. That may not be your comfort level, but for me, if I'm going to put the time and effort into something, I want them to be my friend on Facebook so they can constantly see my content, even if it doesn't lead them anywhere today. Maybe they join the challenge and they don't even participate. If they're my friend on Facebook, they're going to see my posts as I sprinkle in stuff about coaching or my next challenge groups. So one, I always make people be my friend on Facebook. And 2, I always make sure that people are not working with another coach. If they're working with another coach, I don't want them, because why would I? It's not going to get me anywhere. So that's one of the questions that I ask. And I actually have a form I have people fill out called a woo-foo form. And it's, you may have filled mine out before. Do you remember when you did a clean eating group with me? It was like that little, like those couple questions. I post that as a post in my group that says, I will show you the post that I use, because I use the same post over and over again. But I say those things. These are my requirements for being in the group. 1, we have to be friends on Facebook. 2, you can't be working with another coach. 3, fill out this short form. That way I can see where they're at. It's, are they working with another coach? What are their goals? How committed are they to this? And I have them fill that out, and I have them give me their email address, which is something that right now today, you might not have anything to do with it, but later as you have more success, there's some training that I'm going to be doing later with doing newsletters and having people's email address. It's something to have. Make sure they give you something, since you're going to be giving all this free content out. So that's what I would have people do, since you have so many people in the group. Next, in that group of 170 people, I would say half of the people don't participate. That just seems to be how it is. Come here. Sorry, my dog is whining. That just seems to be how it is in those groups. People are like, oh, yay, I'll join this group. And then when they see they have to go buy groceries and this kind of stuff, it totally turns them off, and they stay in the group, but they don't participate. So what I like to do is, once the groups start on Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I see who's been participating in the posts, and I send those people a message, and I say, hey, so-and-so, thanks so much for being in the group. How's it going? Are you doing okay? Is there anything I can do to help you? Are you enjoying the recipes? Some sort of genuine message that you're checking in on them, and see if they respond. Try and create a relationship. They could be like, oh, I'm doing really good, or I've already lost a pound, or just try and get that relationship going back and forth partway through the challenge. Then Friday, or is it Saturday? I need to look. On one of the last days of the challenge, I thank everybody for being in the challenge group. I have a post that says, thank you for being in the group. I really appreciate everybody's participation. I have a new group starting on such and such date. I don't say anything about the 21-day fix. I don't say anything like this. I just say I have a new longer group starting on such and such date. If you are interested, comment below or send me a message. And some people will, some people won't. And then the people who are really active in the group or people who I've already had relationships with from the messages in the middle of the week, I will send them a message that says something like, hey, so-and-so, thank you so much for being in the group. I really appreciated your participation. Do you have any feedback you could give me about the group? I would really appreciate any feedback you could give me. And then you could say, I have a new group starting on such and such date. Would you consider joining it? And I always answer with a question like that, not are you interested? I always say, would you consider joining it? Because it makes them stop and think. Because usually when you say, are you interested, people are going to be like, nah. But if you say, would you consider joining it? I don't know why that way of wording it usually gets people to stop and think, oh yeah, maybe I'll consider it. Yeah. So that's usually what I do. So I don't send out messages to everybody who's in the group. I only really send messages to the people who are really participating. Because that would take a lot of time to send that message out to 170 people.
Right. That's what I was worried about. I was like feeling overwhelmed before it even happened because I was like, I had to send 170 messages. Like, how am I keep all these people straight?
Yeah, no, I would definitely only send messages. Now, like that Wednesday, say you have quite a few people who are participating, but you want to kind of check in with everybody, you could do that to see if it gets a dialogue going, because some people are new to Facebook groups and they might not comment on your posts that you're doing. So on that Wednesday, when you check in with people, you could, message everybody, but I would only put your time, if your time is limited, only put your time into the people who are actually participating.
Okay. Thank you.
No.
Ashley, can I ask you a question? I realized that you and I actually have quite a few mutual friends, and I think you are their coach who added themselves to my Crockpot group. And JC is one just off the top of my head that I was thinking of.
Okay.
So how do I go about, like, taking her out? Like, do I keep her? I mean, I see her daughter is at my daughter's dance studio. Super awkward if I'm like, oh, sorry, you're out. How do you handle that?
It's really kind of up to you. How you want to handle it. Yeah, I mean, we do have some people that I think, because like Penny Ancrum.
Yeah, Penny added herself too.
Is a coach of mine. And what you could do is, I mean, if you make that post, like when you guys get your group formed, you can make that post and say, if you're already working with a coach, please remove yourself from the group. And then they might be like, oh, okay, no worries. Or if you have them in there and you don't care, I mean, that they see your stuff. I mean, it's just totally a personal call. Okay. If you're friends with them and you have a good relationship, that's one thing. It seems like when I add people to my clean eating groups, lately they've been people like I've run them on my like page, so I get a lot of people that I don't know. So like I'm not really apt to help people I don't know who already have a coach. Now if it's somebody like if it was one of your customers or somebody else, I'm okay if they participate or if I give that stuff away, because yeah, I might not get anything out of it in the end, but I know them personally and it doesn't bother me. But if it's some random stranger that has a coach already, yeah, bye-bye.
Okay. And
I've actually had coaches try and join my groups because they want to join and get your content. So that's another thing. But that's because I've ran groups recently through my like page where I have a bunch of people join from my like page that I don't know personally.
Right.
So if you're running from people just from your warm market, that's not something that you need to worry about. But if they do already have a coach or a customer or a coach that they're working with, then they might be like, oh yeah, I had a coach like 3 years ago, but she's not working anymore. Well, then that's okay. But if they're actively working with another coach, I wouldn't give them your time.
Okay. Do you always know? I mean, do people, because Casey and I are doing it together, and so half the names I don't know, and she doesn't know half the names. So I feel like there's this, like, I don't know. I'm assuming they're her people if I don't know them, but she's probably making the assumption about my people as well. And then we've got maybe some people that don't know either of us that just added themselves because it's a public event. So I don't really know how to handle those people.
what I would do and what I can show you guys is I would encourage you guys to make each of you, see, I don't know how to do that since you're doing it together. I always have that woohoo form that I have people fill out, and like literally it's like a website. You go to this website and like you can like create this form where they answer a couple questions, and that's one of the questions. You could always do a woohoo form. One of you could do it, and you could say, who is the person who referred you? Was it Kelly or Casey? And that way you could see who they were, or they could say, I'm not sure, and then you could go from there and say, well, just split the people in half. Yeah, I'm not really sure. So did you guys have any requirements for people joining your group? Like, do you need them to be your friend, or you just were like, it was like a free-for-all?
Yeah, it was, Casey, I think it was kind of a free-for-all, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't really have requirements. I haven't posted anything yet on the page about requirements. I was going to do that on Wednesday, do that little, these are the requirements, blah, blah, blah. But so no, I didn't have them fill out a form beforehand.
I'm wondering if we could do a joint woohoo form or something, and maybe Casey, you and I can just talk at a different time about it. But
that's fine. And if you guys want to do a three-way, what I can do, if anybody wants to be added into one of my older clean eating groups that's closed, and you want to like kind of scroll through the posts. I know that all the posts are in like the Google Drive, but you can kind of see how people react and what I do, and you can see that pinned post where I have the requirements and see the woohoo form. I have a video in the team page for how to create a woohoo form. It's super easy. It's a free thing that you set up through your email address. It's really, really easy, and they send you the email. So woohoo actually sends you an email with the person's answers on it, or you can have them text you too. So if you know somebody fills it out, you get an email, and I save all those in a file in my email, and then I take their email addresses and I add it to MailChimp, which is the service I use that's free to make a newsletter. Because once you become an Emerald Coach and you're hitting Success Club, of course this is stuff I want to talk about later, but you're going to start getting customers from Beachbody for free, and you're going to have their email address. So you want to be able to utilize that in some way, contact them, and that's what I do. I send them an email when they first become my customer, and then I add them to my list so they get a newsletter from me, so they realize that I'm their coach, and I try and send good content with a little bit of stuff sprinkled in for sales or this kind of stuff for promotions. So I might not be friends with them on Facebook or know anything else, but they will at least be seeing my stuff. So you can get that stuff, and you might not use it right now. It might be months before you use it, but if you have it somewhere that's saved, you can use it later.
And I'm actually in I participated in one of your clean eating challenges, I think last month. I was just kind of in the group, but I didn't participate. So yeah, I can back in.
My last couple haven't been very good because honestly, I wasn't very engaged. I didn't really know the people that I was adding, and it just kind of tanked. So they're very useful. I've gotten a couple coaches from them. Christine's a coach from one of my clean eating groups. I think I have a handful that were from clean eating groups. So they're definitely valuable, but while you're running them, just take a deep breath. They can be overwhelming. They can be just a big nightmare, and you might be thinking while you're running it, this is the biggest waste of my time ever. But trust me, there are people on the outside of your circle who are seeing what you're doing, and they're like, I don't know what she's doing. I don't believe it. I don't want to invest in anything that she's doing. But if they can participate in the clean eating challenge, they can really start to trust you and see what you're about, and it really adds value to them. So sometimes it takes people a couple times over and over and over again to actually do anything further. Like I've had people participate in clean eating challenges, over and over again for a couple months before they actually said, okay, I really want something more out of it. So. Does anybody else have any questions? Because if not, I'm going to hop off of here because we're going to start that event like we did a month ago or a while ago. So if you have anything to add or share in the event about coaching, please feel free. I know this event has been kind of a mess because we were trying to do it for a whole week, but it wasn't doing very good. So we decided to do mass posts tonight like we did. I think it was at the end of August. So if you have something to share, great. Hopefully you invited some people to it. I know Kelly signed up a bunch of coaches after that event last month. So we're not running it with the other team, but there will be in one post. So feel free to post or share anything. Sound good?
I have one question.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
I know you talked about like not spamming them, trying to be yourself. I'm great at talking with people. As soon as I bring up Beachbody, I feel like it feels awkward to me. It doesn't feel
It is awkward. It does. And I think the more you do it, the less awkward it feels. I think when you first do it, I think you're up in your head like, oh my God, what am I saying? Is she going to totally fall off the face of the earth? Is she going to hate me? And you really just have to commit to continuing to invite people, and you'll feel less icky about it. It's kind of icky to talk to people about this because obviously, you know, we're making money off of this and it's our job. But we have to have the faith in our ability to help people. We have the faith in the products that we're using to help people. And if you focus on that, I think it'll become easier. I think maybe typing to people isn't your strength. Maybe you should say, hey, I'd love to talk to you more about this. Would you have a time when we could hop on the phone? So people talk better than they can to type. So experiment with what works for you. I know that for me personally, talking about coaching, I can talk about coaching very easily with a person one-on-one, like over the phone or through a Zoom call. But when you type about it, it seems like there's so much information, and I don't think they can really get to know me through typing. I think getting on the phone can be easier. So just experiment with what you think would work best for you. It is kind of awkward.
It just feels like it negates everything that came before it and makes it all seem fake. That's how I feel. So I struggle with it.
What you might want to do if you're open to it, if you have a few people, like if you've talked to some people and you've then invited them and it's gone kind of cold or whatever, screenshot your conversation if you're open to it. To me, like take pictures of it on your phone or whatever, or screenshot it on a computer and send it to me in a message, and I can give you some feedback to say, okay, well, this was good, or this is where you went wrong. I had a coach who was really good at talking to people, and then she like jumped like with all this information about Beachbody and like completely vomited on people, and I think it made people go like, whoa, and like they just totally went blank. So I think we have the tendency to want to be like, oh my God, do this, this is so amazing. People are like, whoa, dude, like relax, like this is too much. So you kind of have to lead people gently through it. So, but yeah, feel free to screenshot any sort of conversations you're having, and I can give you feedback where I think it might work good or where you might.
Okay.
It takes practice. More than anything, it just takes practice. You just have to feel it yourself. But anything else? No? Okay, good. We'll have our call. We have the team call for anybody. Yeah, all of you are on my team on Thursday the 1st. And then our team call with Amy's big team. And then we'll do our mentorship call again next Tuesday. So if you have any topics that you really want to talk about or something that you're struggling with, put it in that group message that we have so I can prepare some stuff. I know I didn't talk to you individually today, but I really wanted to give you some useful information. Sound good? Okay, hope to see you on the event. Talk to you guys later. Bye.